Every Sunday night, your chest tightens and your brain fixates on all the work you didn't get done. That dread doesn't mean you're not committed to your job. It's just your nervous system on high alert. Welcome to the Lawyer Burnout Solution, the podcast for women attorneys who want to move from survival mode to a sustainable, fulfilling lawyer life. I'm Heather Mills, and every week I share tools, strategies, and mindset shifts to help you reclaim your energy, confidence, and career. Today, we're talking about Sunday night dread, that mix of guilt and panic that so many lawyers feel as the weekend winds down, and how to quiet it so you don't lose your Sunday night to stress. Sunday night dread is common. Almost every lawyer I've worked with has felt it. I have too. But common doesn't mean inevitable. The question isn't whether it's real, it's whether it has to stay this way. And if you're skeptical about whether change is even possible, that's a strength. Lawyers are trained to challenge things, to ask for evidence, to test the argument. So consider this episode an experiment. We'll unpack why Sunday dread happens, the beliefs fueling it, and a few simple tools you can test for yourself tonight to see if Monday morning feels any different. So let's paint the picture. It's late Sunday afternoon. Maybe you spent the day at your kid's soccer game or hosting family. Maybe you were too spent from the week to do anything but laundry and Instacart. Or maybe you tried not to work. You took a walk, you went to brunch, or you just scrolled Instagram. But as the sun sets, your stomach sinks. Your brain whispers, I should have outlined the strategy for that client pitch. I should have reviewed that merger agreement. I should have prepped more questions for that deposition. I should have gotten ahead on compliance updates. I should have caught up on billing and invoicing. Whether you're in litigation, corporate, government, or running your own practice, the thoughts all sound similar. I should have done more. For years, I thought this was normal. That if you weren't panicked on Sunday night, then you weren't committed. Maybe you've told yourself the same thing. But what you're experiencing isn't apathy or proof you don't care enough. It's just your nervous system doing its job a little too well. So what's really happening inside your body on Sunday nights? Sunday night dread is basically your nervous system on high alert. When you don't fully process the stress of the week, your body carries it forward. Cortisol and adrenaline stay elevated. That's what I mean by chronic stress. Your body never really gets the memo that the danger is over. So by Sunday night, your brain looks ahead to Monday and predicts more pain. Psychologists call this anticipatory anxiety. Basically, your brain rehearsing stress before it even happens. Research shows that when your brain keeps running these mental rehearsals, your body stays flooded with stress hormones, even when you're just lying in bed. So think of this like case law. You don't have to like it, but the evidence is there. And pain in lawyer life often looks like overwhelm. There's too much and I can't keep up. Fear of disappointing people. If I don't have everything done, I'll let the partners down. Self-doubt. I don't know how to handle that client call. Perfectionism. I want this brief to be flawless, but I know it won't be. But it's not just your thoughts that keep the dread alive. It's also the emotions you've pushed down all week. As lawyers, we're trained to compartmentalize. Put the frustration in a box. Swallow the anxiety. Power through the fear. Because the work has to get done. But suppressed emotions don't just disappear. Your nervous system stores them. By the time Sunday night rolls around, all that unprocessed tension resurfaces as dread, guilt, even panic. That's why it doesn't matter if you technically didn't work over the weekend. If the stress and emotions from last week weren't processed, your body is still bracing for the next round. Let's talk about the guilt piece, because for lawyers, that's a big part of Sunday night dread. It sounds like this. I wasted the weekend. I should have billed more hours. I should have gotten ahead on discovery. If I drafted more, I wouldn't feel this way. And that guilt morphs into panic. I'm already behind and it's only Sunday. Tomorrow's going to be a disaster. Others are going to be more prepared than I am. Now you might be telling yourself, well, if I just worked harder this weekend, I wouldn't feel this way. I used to think that too. One of my clients who was a junior associate felt the same way. Every Sunday night, she spiraled over billables, convinced she was already behind before the week even started. And that guilt kept her from resting the whole weekend. She thought working more would fix it, but it never did. Here's the part we don't realize. The guilt doesn't come from what you actually did or didn't do. It comes from the belief that if you're not working every possible minute, you've failed. Psychologists call the opposite skill psychological detachment, the ability to actually feel safe not working. And research shows that time off doesn't recharge you unless you can detach. If guilt hijacks your weekend, your body can't repair itself. So what beliefs are fueling all this? Let's name them. Here are some of the common ones fueling that Sunday night dread. If I don't work all weekend, I'll fall behind. Not working makes me less committed or lazy. Everyone else is working harder than me. If it's not perfect, it's failure. Do any of these sound familiar to you? These beliefs are so ingrained in legal culture that they don't even feel like beliefs. They just feel like the truth. But they're not the truth. They're our social conditioning. In psychology, they're called cognitive distortions. Patterns like catastrophizing, black and white thinking, or making assumptions about what others are thinking. The research shows that noticing and questioning these distortions reduces anxiety and burnout. And if you're skeptical that noticing and changing these thoughts could actually reduce anxiety and burnout, that's fair. You don't have to take my word for it. Cross-examine your own thoughts, the way you'd challenge an opposing argument in court. Ask, are they facts or just catastrophic predictions your nervous system is throwing at you? So here's the part everyone wants to know. What can you actually do about it? So here's a process you can use when Sunday dread shows up. Think of it as a 5-step experiment, not a self-help checklist. And before you think, I don't have time for this, I want you to know that every tool I'm sharing can be tested in under 5 minutes. You don't need an hour or a seminar or a meditation cushion. Just run the experiment and see if it makes Monday morning different. Step 1, allow the emotion. When you feel dread, guilt, or panic, or any of those kinds of negative emotions, pause. Notice where it shows up in your body. Is it the tightness in your chest? Is there buzzing in your jaw? Restless legs? Remind yourself, this is just an emotion. It's safe to feel it. Neuroscience backs this up. Naming an emotion, literally putting words to it, lowers activity in the amygdala, your brain's alarm system. Step 2, name the thought. Ask, what thought is behind this feeling? Maybe it's, I'm already behind, or everyone else is more prepared. Step 3, ask if that thought is true. Most of the time, it isn't. You've handled weeks like this before. You've prepped less than you wanted and still delivered. You've walked into client meetings imperfectly prepared and managed just fine. Think of it again like a cross-examination of a witness. Is this thought presenting hard evidence, or is it just speculation? Most Sunday night thoughts don't hold up under this kind of questioning. Step 4, choose a new thought. It doesn't have to be fake positive, just grounded. Let me give you some examples. So here's a shift. If you are thinking, I'm behind, you can shift that to, I know how to prioritize when I need to. If you're thinking, not working makes me undisciplined, you can shift that to, resting gives me the energy I'll need for the week ahead. If you're thinking, everyone else is more prepared, you can shift that to, I don't actually know what anyone else did this weekend. And if you're thinking, if it's not perfect, I'll fail, you can shift that to, I can deliver high quality work without burning myself out. Psychologists call this cognitive reappraisal, basically learning to notice and reframe your thoughts. Research shows that doing this not only changes your perspective in the moment, but also rewires the stress circuits in your brain. And the payoff isn't just less stress. It's clearer judgment, faster prep, stronger work product. In my coaching, I teach a simple version of this that I call the T method, TEA. T stands for thought, E stands for emotion, and A stands for action. It's a way to slow down and see how your thoughts create your feelings and drive your behavior. The T method is just a tool for cross-examining your own thoughts, asking if they're facts or just catastrophic predictions your nervous system is throwing at you. Remember that associate I mentioned earlier? Once she started using T, that Sunday spiral finally shifted. Step 5, take action to teach your body safety. Once you've worked with the thought using T, the final step is action, showing your nervous system that it's safe right now. Even one small action can shift you out of threat mode. You can try something simple. So for example, close the laptop and write down your single top priority for Monday. That's you telling your brain, I've captured it. I don't need to keep spinning on it. Another thing you could try is just to put your phone in another room for 20 minutes and let your body breathe. That's you signaling, nothing urgent is chasing me down right now. You can also take a short tech-free walk. That's you showing your nervous system, movement is safe, rest is safe. You could also just stretch before bed and remind yourself, I'm safe right now. There's nothing threatening me in this moment. These micro practices are the A in T. They're action. And when you pair new thoughts with small calming actions, you're training both your mind and your body. Research on neuroplasticity shows that these small repeated shifts, just like this, they literally reshape the pathways that drive stress. So it feels like you need to make big changes. And what you actually can do are really small things, small changes. Let me get personal for a minute because Sunday night dread used to own me during certain periods of my career. I'd spend entire weekends going back and forth between exhaustion and guilt. I wasn't billing, but I wasn't resting either. I was just stewing in shame. I'd tell myself if I just worked more this weekend, Monday wouldn't feel so scary. But the truth is that the weekends I worked all weekend, I felt just as bad, sometimes worse. Because no matter how much I did, my brain found more to panic about. What shifted wasn't that I suddenly became more disciplined. It was realizing that the dread was predictive fear and not fact, and that I could start answering back with thoughts that calmed my body instead of spiraling it into more stress. So here's what I want you to take away with you this week. Number 1, Sunday dread is your nervous system predicting pain. Number 2, the pain it predicts usually comes from beliefs that you've absorbed, like, I should have done more, I'm already behind, I can't make a mistake. Psychologists have studied these patterns for decades now. They're called cognitive distortions, anticipatory anxiety, and suppressed emotion. If you're skeptical about whether this applies to you, that's completely fair. Just test one tool tonight. See how you feel tomorrow morning. That's the evidence that really matters. The good news is that you can change your brain. Every time you allow the emotion, name the thought, question it, and choose differently, you're rewiring your brain for safety. And that's not just a metaphor. Brain imaging confirms it. If Sunday night dread feels all too familiar, I invite you to book a free stress reset call. There's no obligation. It's a private one-on-one conversation with me where we'll look at what Sunday night dread is really costing you, both professionally and personally. Together, we'll outline clear next steps so you can feel more in control and build a career that's both successful and fulfilling. You can schedule your time at heathermillscoaching.com/call. That's it for today. Be kind to yourself this week, especially on Sunday night. You don't need to earn your right to rest. I'll see you next time.